Hello, and welcome back to Suzerain in Swordland. And today, we're gonna be doing a meeting with Gloria Tori on our planned reforms. Well, we'll have to see how this goes. I arrived at the Grand National Assembly, which was only a 5-minute drive from the palace. Today, I had a private meeting with Gloria Tori, one of the leading figures of the USP, to get her approval for the proposal. She was also key in reaching 150 signatures to propose the new constitution, as she had extensive control over our party's conservative and moderate wings. As I walked through the corridors of the Grand National Assembly, I was confronted by my memories of the historic building. Despite being a member of the assembly not long ago, it now felt like a distant past. I walked into the left wing of the assembly, which currently acted as the quarters of the USP. Gloria's office was the first one inside. I knocked on the door and entered. Good morning, Miss Tori. Good morning to you, or good to see you here, Mr. Rain. It was a small, neatly organized office. There were small figurines, photos, and plants around the place. It had a homey feel, unlike my own assembly office when I had worked there. On her gesture, I took a seat. The chair was very comfortable. How are you doing, Miss Tori? I'm fine, Mr. Rain. How are you? I'm very happy to see you, Miss Tori. It's been a while. Indeed, Mr. President, she smiled. So how does the presidential chair compare to the ones in the assembly? The chair that is fine, but the work that comes with it is insane. Well, you knew that, didn't you? Anyway, let's keep this simple, Mr. Rain. We both know why you're here. You need my support. I've reviewed your proposal in detail. It's a fine draft. Your changes aren't major enough to cause any difficulties. I believe I can give you this help you require. She repositioned herself on the chair. Just don't forget, Mr. President, the conservatives will be expecting a lot from you. Well, I will be expecting a lot from the conservatives as well. I can get you the signatures needed for the proposal. I'll talk to the other conservatives. I hope there won't be any surprises, though, Mr. President. I assure you, there is nothing you should be concerned about. I'll hold you to that promise. I just hope you won't continue Alfonso's destruction of the country with your economic policies. Of course, I can't guarantee that all the conservatives of the party will vote for your constitutional changes. I have serious reservations about the privatization, healthcare, or the Swordish state corporation. The support of my faction can change. That will depend to some extent on your policies, but the signatures at least are as good as guaranteed. Which policies make you concerned? I'm completely against your efforts to privatize our education institutions. The state must be responsible for educating its citizens. Your reform will corrupt our education system and bring foreign influence. But we'll discuss that later. What we expect from you is not to pursue further privatization. If you start privatizing healthcare or state-owned corporations, I doubt I can help you. I can't promise anything. These decisions depend on circumstances. For the sake of your reform, you'd better hope that it doesn't. She stood up. I believe I've made myself clear. Thanks for stopping by, Mr. President. I hope you'll hold your promises. I didn't make a promise. I literally said I can't promise anything, so I don't know what you're talking about promises. She extends her hand for me to handshake. Once I shook her hand, she immediately sat back down. But now I need to get back to my duties. If you'll excuse me, Mr. President? I understand. I'll leave you to it. She only responded with a nod as I left her office. The conservative side was handled, but to get to 150 signatures I needed, I would still have to deal with Albin Clavin of the reformist wing. I went outside. Serge drove me back to the palace, where I met Lucien and told him the progress I'd made with Gloria. Well, that was easy. I've gone through that and had to go through like 20 minutes of like negotiations over the bill, and that time it was literally like, yeah, you're good, I'm fine with this, and then move on, like, okay, cool, sounds great, thanks. BFF warns Wellen, Swordland, and Lesbia. In a startling announcement, spokesperson of the British Freedom Front, BFF, have released a statement condemning the governments of Swordland, Lesbia, and Wellen for their mistreatment of British citizens. The statement warns of potential action against these governments if they continue to ignore the will of the British people. The BFF statement particularly targets the government of Wellen, accusing President Viktor Smolik of planning to carry out genocide against the British people. These shocking allegations demand immediate attention and actions from the international community to prevent such atrocities. It is high time for these governments to listen to the voices of their brutish citizens and respect their rights and freedoms. Otherwise, militant groups like the BFF will take the lead and push the region out into violence. Alright, let me finish the Constitution and then I'll deal with that. Lucian offers to play chess. Late into the evening, Lucian extends an invitation for a strategic game of chess within the solemn quiet of the president. Why is this organized like a major event? Let's play chess. An evening chess match with Lucian and Gallade. Evening descended on the capital as Lucian and I found ourselves alone in my office. I found my chief strategist at the chessboard on the coffee table. Now, I personally in real life am horrible at chess. It's like, I even though I love strategy games, I do not like chess, mostly because I just don't I honestly don't even know how all the pieces move completely all the time. I've recently got into some channel that does like chess match reviews that I find funny, so I kind of watch, so I actually kind of know chess a little more now, but I still don't know chess very much. Anyways, the side of it reminded me of simpler times, of late night strategy sessions turning into chess matches. We used to escape the political chaos into a world of rooks and bishops. Man, I mean, if it's escaping political chaos to go to like play EU4 maybe, or Hearts of Iron 4, or want to play Suzerain, man, if they played Suzerain to get out of their political drama, that would be funny. Since this is sooner. I know. Our battles were both tense and friendly, a reflection of our long history together. Lucian had always proved a challenging opponent. His strategies, both on the chessboard and in politics, had the same unprecedented edge. A soft knock interrupted my reminiscing. Olivia came in with our usual coffee. She noticed the chessboard and smiled. Long nights of strategy planning, and now a game of chess? You two never stop thinking, do ya? What's your opinion on chess, Livia? Ever been tempted to learn? I prefer whist, Mr. President. I'll leave the complex plotting to the professionals. Have a good game, gentlemen. She turned and left the room. Lucian acknowledged her exit with a slight nod, his eyes still fixed on the board. I hope you will remember that it's not always the king who holds the power. Sometimes a well-placed pawn can change the game. I mean, come on. Neither of them hold any real power. Lucian's the player who controls them. Duh, sir. Of course, sir. But a wise player recognizes the value of every piece on the board. As Lucian positioned the pieces of the chessboard, it stirred memories of early days in the United Swordsman Party. His dexterous maneuvering reflected the unseen orchestration that helped Peter and me ascend through the ranks. As the final piece was set into motion, the board transformed into a silent battlefield. Shall we get this game underway, Lucian? Indeed, President Rain. A game of chess is exactly what we need. Which color do you prefer, black as usual or white this time? Doesn't matter to me, Lucian. I can play either side. If it doesn't matter, allow me the honor of the first move. I'll take white. A courageous choice, I'm not surprised. The board is yours to react to. With the sides chosen, Lucian sat back, his fingers laced together in contemplation, and thus the game began. Lucian moved his knight from G1 to F3, aiming for a reti opening, whatever that means. Reti? Let's throw in a bit of spice. Control the center. In response to Lucian's attempt at the reti opening, I advanced my pawn from E7 to E5, even to strengthening my grip on my center. A solid move, Mr. Rain. Maintaining control of the center is often key. Lucian's next move is calculated and swift. The bishop glided from F1 to G2, preparing for a potential kingside castle and fortifying the pawn structure. Your bishop is on the move, I see. Every piece has its role into play, Mr. President. press the center. Seeing Lucian's strategy unfold, I decided to assert control of the center. Moving my pawn from e7 to e5, I prepared to challenge his dominance on the board. With this, the stage was set. The opening maneuvers had transformed into a mid-game battle of wits. Each pawn push, every subtle reposition, had been a testament to Lucian's strategic prowess and my resilience. I've heard from the guy that I've been watching, if you can take the middle, if you can take the center with your pawns without risking losing your pawns, always do it. I don't fully understand the why. I just know that you always should. So that's why I did that. The next move would prove crucial. Lucian's queen cut a path through the heart of the board, menacing my vulnerable king side. The stakes were sky high. A bold pawn advance could release my rook's potential and threaten Lucian's knight. On the other hand, I could gamble with a roomish gambit, a risky play that could wrestle control of the center away from him. Attempt the roomish gambit! I decided to risk a critical pawn, hoping to gain advantage in the middle game. The roomish gambit, pushing down the center. Bold, but risky. Risk often comes with rewards, Lucian. He calmly slid his queen across the board, threatening my isolated pawn. His subtle smirk revealed he understood my gambit and was ready to counter. Lucian made a bold move, pushing his pawn forward, forcing my bishop into a vulnerable position. I do not have the mind to know what actually this board looks like at all. While the urge to scare my threatened bishop was strong, an enticing opportunity also lay before me, a potential double attack on Lucian's king and rook. Initiate the Rizian Fork. I maneuvered my knight expertly, landing on a square that posed a double threat to Lucian's king and rook. A daring maneuver under fiery pressure. You're an adept tactician, but this is far from over. In response to my king's threat, Lucian moved out the threat, creating a barrier between my knight and his king. Only through fire do we learn the nature of the material. Pioneer pawn. I boldly advanced my center pawn, paving the way for my knights and bishop to assert their dominance. Ah, swift strike at the heart, Mr. President. The game grows more interesting. The center was congested, a testament to Lucian's unyielding style. His formation was formidable, his pieces interlocked in a matrix of support, each protecting the other while simultaneously projecting threats across the board. It was my move, and the game had entered its final stages. Lucian's king was uncomfortably focused, radiating danger. I had only a few paths before me. The game was slipping from my grasp. I had two options: a risky knight sacrifice that could lead to a swift in, or to hunker down and hope for a draw. The knight sacrifice. I decided to sacrifice the knight, hoping that the unexpected move would throw Lucian off balance. A bold sacrifice. Let's see how it plays out. If Lucian fell into the trap, I might manage to draw. If he saw through it, my loss was imminent. A sacrifice in vain, I hope. I accept. Lucian seized the opportunity, capturing my sacrifice knight and strengthening his position. My bold move backfired. Lucian's pieces closed in. Trapping my king, it was checkmate. The game was over, and Lucian had won. You've trapped my king, Lucian. The game is yours. The game was tough, Mr. President. Your defeat was not easily won. Time well spent. We learn less from victories, though. Lucian and I slowly began to dismantle the chessboard, each piece carefully placed back into protective casing. Lucian was at high spirits, his eyes gleaming with a rare look of contentment. The high stakes and strategical intricacies of this game remind me of the trials I endured early in my career, although the situation there was rarely as black and white. Tell me more, did chess play a part in your youth? In a way, chess prepared me for some of the challenges I faced. I was involved in some complex situations where every move could drastically alter the landscape. Complex situations, you say? Sounds like you've dealt with a lot of tough decisions. Indeed, Mr. President, my past isn't without its share of shadows. There's a time when I served in a capacity that wasn't so straightforward. I danced on a knife's edge, every step carrying deep consequences. Lucian's gaze dropped to his empty glass as he fell into a moment of quiet introspection. You're beginning to intrigue me, Lucian. What are you not telling me? I can tell you that there were instances where I found myself in the midst of, let's say, intelligence work. Let's call it intelligence work. It was a complex dance, rife with deception and shadows. You were involved in intelligence works, Lucian. That's certainly an unexpected revelation. It's true, sir. During the late Kingdom era, I found myself part of King Ugman's intelligence service. In a manner of many words, find objectionable. Much as I'd love to elaborate, I must take my leave. Thank you for the delightful match. Thank you, Lucian. The match was indeed captivating. I hope to play again soon, though I cannot promise the outcome will be any different for you. He smiled. Good night, Mr. President. As Lucian departed, I thought about what he'd told me. I'd learned a thing or two, but the man was more of a mystery than ever. What an interesting fellow. Wonder if we'll learn more about him. Probably not. Meeting with Albin Clavin. After our meeting with Gloria Tori and further discussions with the party in my cabinet, it was time to talk to Albin Clavin to get the reformist wing to support the proposal. I also plan to finally present a more fleshed out proposal and declare our agenda to the party after our meeting. I walked into the left wing of the assembly and entered the quarters of the USP. When I reached the meeting hall, I saw many of the members conversing inside. After taking a glimpse inside, I went back into the corridor to look for the office of Albin Clavin, which was around the back of the place. When I reached his room, I knocked on his door and entered. Mr. President, welcome. The whole room was surrounded by bookshelves packed with files and papers. It was a small office with books and dossiers lying on every corner. It felt claustrophobic. On his gesture, I took a seat. How is everything going, Mr. Clavin? It's been busy. The party has been working very hard, Mr. President. Thank you for asking. How is it going for you in the palace? It depends on our meeting today, huh? Oh, I see. Then I'll try my best not to make it any worse for you, Mr. President. I want to express my gratitude for passing the Workers' Rights Act. It is one of the most comprehensive and successful political efforts. You and I see eye to eye on many subjects, including this one. Music to my ears. It wouldn't be possible without the Bascal Benewol support, the labor union, and several NGOs like Magnus Cardus, and also contributed to the campaigning. I have to say, the close collaboration within the palace and the party is going well. Looking forward to what we can accomplish with the reforms. Albin smiled and knocked on wood. Anyway, sir, let's talk about the proposal. Thanks for coming here for my input, because there are some subjects where Gloria and I don't see eye to eye. I have to say that most of the progressives were already starting to warm up to you. Your attempt at changing Constitution created a bit of excitement. One could dare to say an excitement that hasn't been felt since the 30s. I'd read the proposal and that was finalized together with Mrs. Tory, and surprisingly, it came out pretty good. Look, Mr. President, I'm on the same side as you. I won't create any problems. Thank you, Mr. Calvin. Any help from you is much appreciated. He looked down at the proposal. It's looking good. I will support the proposal and get the needed signatures from our wing. I believe the reformist votes that I will have be very important to you. Who knows? Maybe you'll consider me for a job in the government in the future for this. I'll consider you if you prove you I was supposed to be sly. I'll consider you if you prove yourself useful in the vote. Oh, you know I will, Mr. President. I will talk to my guys shortly. I will have their signatures soon. Thank you, Mr. Clavin. See you in the conference, Mr. President. I left his room and went back into the corridor. The meeting had exhausted me. I went to the restaurant at the assembly to get something to eat while conversing with other members of our party. I saw Albin talking to his people in the distance. After a while, the preparations for the conference began, and I went back into the conference hall and prepared my notes for the speech I was going to make. It took time to get all the present members of the party inside the hall. Gloria Tori announced me from the stand. I walked up to the stand as everyone in the room started clapping. Brothers and sisters of United Swordland! I came here today to announce the agenda for the future of our country. I started my speech with the reasons for the changes of the Constitution. The people of Swordland have spoken. They blame our institutions and our systems and want change. Can you blame the people? Haven't we had enough of the flaws of our Constitution? We must listen to their elections and get their trust in Swordland back. I paused as they started clapping and continued. I brought attention to democracy and why we must write a more democratic constitution. I explained how our proposal will fix the issues. The left side of the hall, where Albin sat, started applauding. Later I explained the contents of the new constitution, asked for their full support for the proposal. Just ask. You don't need to threaten or demand. I asked for each and every member's vote to make a change together. The Morris wing on the left stood up and started clapping loudly after Albin Clavin made a sign. Soon after, most of the party members stood up and joined in. I saluted everyone in the room one last time and bid them farewell after leaving the stand. I walked outside the assembly and back into the palace. Let's go. President meets the USP. Today, President Rain has met with the party members in a party meeting in the Grand National Assembly of Swordland, where the current situation of the country and future plans of the party were likely discussed. It was later reported that President Rain used the meeting to give a speech to the party and announce the contents of the first draft of the new constitution. The details of the meeting were not made public, nor what the draft contained. Hopefully we'll make it public soon. I kind of want the people to know what we're doing. Balance of power in Eastern Europa. Well, calm down. Let us finish this draft first, and at least finish our highway. Calm down. Oh, we have a report. Ministry of Health discusses privatization. The Ministry of Health has begun working on a health report with a proposal to allow privatization in the health system, potentially generate new resources for the ministry. Minister Benawal is personally overseeing the discussion and report with top aides, including members from the National Business Council. Radical. Archaic state of Swordland's conscription laws. Dear reader, I ask you this. What year are we in? 1880s? Yeah, I think so. Moving on. Okay, what's else going on? Or 1920s? The matter I'm writing about is, of course, mandatory military service. What makes sense? We're in the 1880s. Again, in times when there are no active wars, why do we still need to have these archaic conscription laws? Let me answer that. It is because someone profits from it. Not only does this make the warmongering soulless happy, it also works for large defense corporations. The oligarchs are now swimming in money, but we still have to send our children away when they come of age. We are in the modern age. If we want to modernize Swordland and catch up to the superpowers, if we want to lose this militaristic identity so that we can intellectually prosper, mandatory conscription laws need to go. I mean, I agree, but I just defunded the military, and I feel like if I do that, it's only going to make the military more angry. Geopolitico. Rain to meet with Smolik and Van Houten. Swordland is embarking on a great geopolitical gamble with new trade initiative organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The hope is the solidification of relations with the old ally Agnolia and the troublesome neighbor Welland, with the aim of regaining some of the regional diplomatic influence the country used to have. Each of these countries have different agendas, which will create some difficulties for President Rain. PM Van Houten, who was elected through a powerful democratic movement, wants to reimagine trade with Swordland, while President Smolik of Welland is looking for new foreign investments and security cooperations against the rebellious bluish movements on the border. I really don't like that. Lesbia and Veglin are watching Swordland's actions very closely and are sure to react to any sort of balance of power shift. Let's see, what we got around. Oh, we also got one more thing over here. Infrastructure at full capacity in Binfi. The bustling city of Binfi is facing infrastructural challenges at its airport and port facilities are at full capacity due to high volumes of logistics and tourist travel. The situation is raising concerns over the ability to sustain the growing demand without causing delays and disruptions. Infrastructure expansion and modernization are being considered to resolve the issue. Arcacia offers aid. Arcasian Foreign Minister Lauren Martel has proposed an extensive aid package for Swordland. The package includes financial assistance, logistics support, and equipment aid. In return, Arcacia seeks refueling and repair access of Swordland's Erlori Air Force Base, in addition to occasional flyover rights in our Swordish airspace. Arcasian President Dwight Walker has personally assured this agreement aims for peaceful objectives. Of course we're going to accept. Thank you. Thank you so much. Policies. Arcasian given air base access. The Swordish Air Force extends its hospitality and support to the Arcasian 4th Fighter Squadron, allowing them to refuel, undergo necessary repairs, and access the state-of-the-art facilities of the Erlori Air Force Base. The collaborative effort enhances the intermingling of expertise, resources, and shared knowledge between the two air forces, fostering stronger cooperation and mutual support. Arcasian Air Force rotations. The Arcasian 4th Fighter Wing, a crucial component of the Arcasian Air Force, conducts occasional air rotations around the Airlori Air Force Base, showcasing a display of military cooperation between the two nations. The rotations serve to maintain and enhance military readiness and to promote regional security and stability. Yeah. Investments from Arcasia. Many Arcasian companies are opening new branches, expanding their existing operations, and forming Swordish-based subsidiaries, bolstering our economy and creating opportunities for jobs and further investments. Arcasian Aid is part of the Arcasian Considerable Aid Package to Swordland, including financial, logistical, and equipment support. They will gain occasional flyover rights and refueling access at Airlori Air Force Base. This aid is aimed at enhancing Swordland's infrastructure and advancing development. This agreement is indicative of President Rain's strategy to strengthen ties with Arcasia, potentially leading to a broader alignment with the Arcasian Treaty Organization. Yeah, I think that's great. Let's do it. Wow, great thing. Rain's weak international leadership. President Rain's recent decision to accept a substantial aid package from Arcasia adds yet another dubious entry to his growing record of weak leadership decision. This move, far from demonstrating a proactive response to Swordland's economic struggles, instead paints our nation as reliant and submissive. We are. Support is so helpful right now. What do you want me to just let our nation die? Is that what you want? Okay, sure, I guess shut down the government, we're heading home. Reflecting back on Swordland's proud history of robust leadership on the international stage, one can't help but mourn its apparent decline. The Arcasian deal, comprising financial assistance, logistical support, and equipment aid, appears at face value to be a boon for a struggling economy. Yes, it is. Yet it comes at the cost of granting Arcasian refueling and repair access of the Swordland Airlori Air Force Base, as well as occasional flyover rights in Swordland airspace. Yeah, like nothing. In agreeing to such terms, Rain does more than just undermine our sovereignty. He risks Swordland's long-standing regional standing, subjugating us to a powerful foreign entity like Arcasia. We're letting them land airplanes. I really don't see how that's much independence loss at all. Like, they're gonna land an airplane and fly over us. It's not a big deal. Such a move represents a stark departure from the vision of an independent, self-sufficient Swordland that many citizens still shares. Our president's attempt to align Swordland close to Arcasia and by extension the Arcasian Treaty Organization, ATO, is a gamble with Swordland's future. One can't help but question, is this the price we must pay for Rain's inability to keep our economy afloat? Are we to become a mere pawn in the grand chessboard of superpowers? As these questions loom large, it is evident that the implications of this strategic shift under Mr. Rain's leadership are yet to be fully discerned. No, I think it is. I think it's just a purely good thing, and that you guys suck. A religious harmony bill. Oh, that has a nice name to it. I'm sure that's a good bill. In an endeavor to promote religious harmony and unity, the Grand Assembly introduced the Religious Harmony Bill, RHB, established regulations for religious affairs across Swordland. Section 1 of the RHB mandates that all ceremonies conducted during the Day of Dissension ceremony at Arch of the Year will henceforth be held in Swordish language. This move is aimed at promoting inclusivity and common understanding among workers, though that's not inclusive at all. Section 2 of the RHB regulates the language of sermons and other sanctuaries across Swordland. It prohibits the use of bloodish for ceremonies unless explicit approval has been obtained from the Archpriest of Swordland. The measure ensures consistency and unity in religious practices across the country. No! Section 3 of RHB is for new regulation for preaching state-sanctioned positions. It requires that all applicants must have Swordish lineage to be eligible for salaries and pensions. This criterion ensures a deeper connection of Swordland's cultural heritage among the who. This is why I shouldn't get rid of my veto power. I should have kept my veto power with that sort of stuff being written. President Rain has recently vetoed the outrageous religious harmony law. Yeah. The bill was aiming to limit the freedoms of Bluish people in Swordland. The MP to propose this bill was, of course, Suzerain, the leader of the NFP himself. Mr. Kibbenir has never stopped his attacks on Bluish people. We are sure that he will continue his racist onslaught in his attempt to further divide the country. President Rain's decision to veto this discriminatory bill, which was a clear attack on religious and personal freedoms, will be welcomed by Bloods and Swords alike. Woo! Really? Okay. Well, I think this is a good place to go ahead and end this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.